What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and tonight was the first game of the Stanley Cup Final between the Dallas Stars and the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Dallas takes Game 1 in convincing fashion, thanks to also Anton Khudobin making 35 saves on the night. Ooh, what a story Anton Khudobin has been for the Dallas Stars. He's just been flat out fantastic for them and his team, just going in the long stretch of the entire playoffs. And Dallas takes this first game by a score of 4-1. They take a 1-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup Finals. And honestly, they look pretty good. They managed to score on Tampa Bay turnovers. They score on the chances that they got. And they got bailed out in the third period. Anton Khudobin played very, very well. And also credited Tampa Bay did not score on any of their power plays in the third period. And Dallas, I think, in the third period only had 2 shots. And one of those was an empty netter. So Dallas, they settled it down defensively. They really tried to shut it down right there. Kind of reminds me of what the Flyers tried to did in their runs in the playoffs this year. When you get a lead going into the third period, you're basically just playing that standard playoff shutdown hockey in the third period, holding on to the lead. But then you get Tampa Bay coming all around, getting 22 shots on the net. Anton Khudobin making amazing save after amazing save. It was an amazing game right there. It was a fantastic opening game to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I like what the NHL did in the way they set it up in the arena. You get with all the flashing scoreboards around everywhere that have been set up the entire time throughout the bubble playoff rounds. But then you see, right directly in the center, in between those 2 big scoreboards, you see the Stanley Cup just sitting there so players can see what they're playing for. They see the Stanley Cup right there. Even though they know what they're playing for at this point, it's just nice to have that out there so players can just look up and say, that's what we're playing for right there. That's what we're playing for, boys. Let's go out and get her. And Dallas, they did that today. Dallas, I feel like early on in this game, it was a little more back and forth. It was very, very back and forth. But honestly, before I get into the game, too, it's just that looking at Dallas, the way they played in the round-robin tournament, they weren't good. They did not play up to their par. They didn't play that good. They couldn't score any type of goal. They rarely struggled offensively. And it really didn't start to come together going into halfway towards the Calgary series, especially in the clinching game too, when Calgary went up by 3-0, and then Dallas scored 6-7 unanswered goals in that game to clinch and go into the second round. I feel like that's where the momentum for Dallas really started to go, and then you see them go into 7 games with the Colorado Avalanche winning Game 7 in overtime, and then them basically manhandling the Vegas Golden Knights going into the Stanley Cup Final. Dallas has been on another level right now. They're playing up to their potential. Guys like Jamie Benn, even though Tyler Seguin really hasn't pinched in a couple of goals right here, he's doing his thing. Alexander Radulov, Hintz, and then you got guys like Joel Kiviranta chipping in goals, especially in that second round Game 7, chipping in a hat trick. It's just Dallas is getting scoring from all around the board right here, and also going through defense, John Klingberg, Miro Heiskanen in the way he's playing. And the big story for Dallas, like I said in the beginning, it goes to Anton Khudobin. Anton Khudobin has been flat out fantastic. He has been a brick wall for Dallas behind the net. And this is, going back to the round robin, this has been his first playoffs. He hasn't started a playoff game in his entire career. And this is definitely a good start to his playoff career right here. Getting win, being fantastic for Dallas, and going to the Stanley Cup Final. And Dallas doing this without Ben Bishop. Anton Khudobin has taken the reins, and he honestly had a fantastic regular season too, being a 1A, 1B situation with Ben Bishop. And with Ben Bishop going into these playoffs injured, Anton Khudobin just took the net. And he's been that guy for Dallas. He's been fantastic, flat out fantastic. And for Tampa Bay, just coming off of what happened in last year's playoffs, being swept in the first round, embarrassed by the Columbus Blue Jackets after their 62-win season, came into this playoffs with a chip on their shoulder, and just going through every round. They beat their demons in the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round. They beat Boston in the second round, and then they beat the New York Islanders in round 3 in 6 games in overtime. And I feel like more in the Islanders series, the Islanders in those last few games managed to shut down Tampa Bay a little bit, but Tampa Bay still managed to come out on top. And Tampa Bay deserves, like Dallas does, to be in the Stanley Cup Final. And this is going to be matching up to be a very great final. Tampa Bay, a very skilled team, but they had a lot of grit, a lot of size in the offseason. And I feel like that's improved their overall game. Last year, they were a very skilled team and probably very easy to shut down, especially what Columbus did last year. So adding that size, adding that grit, helped Tampa Bay a lot. That physicality added to their game with the amazing skill that they have. And Dallas, they just roll four lines out there, and Dallas doesn't have that true superstar right there right now. I'm looking at Miro Heiskanen right here, and the way he's playing in this playoffs, he's a stud. He's an absolute stud right there on the blue line for Dallas, and also John Klingberg too. But like guys like Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin, the way they have been criticized throughout a lot of regular seasons for not stepping up for their team, especially when playoff time comes. But they stepped up so far, Jamie Benn especially too. And Jamie Benn, he's not in that, I would say, term of elite player status like guys like a Sidney Crosby, like a Connor McDavid, like a Nathan McKinnon. He's more in that B-tier type of system, guys like Evgeny Malkin, Claude Giroux, those type of players. He's still a very good player in this league, and he's stepping up for them, being the captain for the Dallas Stars. And like I said, and what Dallas went through in the regular season, their head coach stepping down for personal reasons, what he was going through, and their interim coach coming in right here and helping them, taking the reins and bringing them through this playoff run. It's a amazing season for both teams, especially going through basically the pause, COVID, and now going into the bubble, being the final two teams. These two teams deserve to be here, and it's shaping up to be a fantastic Stanley Cup final with Dallas taking this first game. And going into the first period, I would say it was very even match. Not that many shots for both sides. Dallas had 5, Tampa Bay had 4. It was teams, they were scoring on the chances that they got, and there weren't that many. Both goalies, Vasilevsky and Khudobin, they didn't see a lot, but they managed to make their saves. But the first goal of the game comes 5 minutes into this, where it's a questionable call right here. Braden Point in the corner in the defensive zone gets cross-checked into the boards, and the ref doesn't call it. So when you get Tampa Bay, you get guys screaming at the ref right here for not calling the play, but he doesn't call it, and the play resumes, and you get Roope Hintz jumping on the puck in the corner all by himself, and he finds Joel Hanley wide open in the slot, and he passes it right to him, and he puts it right by Vasilevsky, and it's a 1-0 Dallas lead. Definitely right there a controversial call, and I'm more of an even side right here. I can see it both ways, why the ref didn't call it, and I can see why it would have been a penalty at the same time. But at that point, it is what it is. The ref didn't call it, and Dallas ends up scoring on that non-call. They make it a 1-0 lead, and it continues that back and forth play. Still not that many chances on both sides, not many things seen by both goaltenders. And then we go down towards a little bit over halfway into this first period. Tampa Bay is getting their chance in the offensive zone. And this is a very fluky chance right here by Tampa Bay, and they chip in on it. It's Yanni Gourde with a shot from Barclay Goodrow, and it deflects off of many people. It deflects off Coleman, and then it deflects off of Gourde's skate, and it barely trickles by Khudobin, and you get a 1-1 tie right here. Tampa Bay ties it, and it's a very fluky goal at this point. But hey, you take those goals. You take those dirty, greasy goals in the playoffs, especially in the Stanley Cup Finals. You will take those at any moment you get. And then we go into the first period. We go into the first intermission, tied at 1 apiece. And it was a very evenly paced period. Both teams, they were getting their chances, even though there were not that many. Like I said, goaltenders, they managed to make the saves on the chances that they got. And it wasn't that many shots. Like I said, 5 shots for Dallas, 4 shots for Tampa Bay. But then when we go into the second period, that's when the offense starts to break out for both teams here. If you look at the shot totals in the second period, Dallas had 13. Tampa Bay had 10 shots in this period as well. And this was all Dallas right here, getting both goals in this period. And it starts over halfway. Tampa Bay gets their chances a little bit early too, but they can't get anybody past Khudobin. And we get a goal right here by Jamie Oleksiak. And it's a great play right here, set up by Miro Heiskanen and Alexander Radulov. Heiskanen brings it into the zone, hands it off to Radulov, who's protecting the puck amazingly on the right circle, and he manages to find Oleksiak, who comes right in, takes the initial shot, blocker save by Vasilevsky, the puck comes right back to Oleksiak, and he goes top shelf, comes right out of the net, and it's a goal, and it's a 2-1 Dallas lead right there. A good initial save by Vasilevsky, but I feel like the rebound could have been better because it went literally right back to the stick of Oleksiak. So that's definitely one rebound that Vasilevsky would like to probably control better, maybe deflect it more towards the boards, because it went right to Alexiak's stick. But I really can't blame Vasilevsky that much on that goal. It's just the rebound was a little bit questionable right there. So you got a 2-1 Dallas lead, and then we get the dagger right here. We get the dagger at the end of the second period when, honestly, no, I think it was before, no, this was during this goal too. So a little bit before this third goal happened, Tampa Bay was in the offensive zone, and they hit the crossbar. They were just this close to getting the puck in the net, but it doesn't go in. It goes off the crossbar and onto the boards. And then Dallas comes up the other way, and it's Joel Kiviranta. No, Kiviranta. I sound like Doc Emmer mispronouncing Kiviranta's name. It's Kiviranta coming into the zone. Klingberg gives it to Lindell, and then Kiviranta comes in. He tries to take the initial shot. It gets blocked by the defender in front, comes right back to him, and he takes the shot. It goes right over Vasilevsky and into the net, and it's a 3-1 lead with 30 seconds left in the period. That's definitely a goal you don't want to give up right there. And I would say that's a questionable goal right there by Andrei Vasilevsky. That's definitely a goal that you don't want to allow, especially with less than 30 seconds left in the second period. That's definitely a dagger right there. And if you're any team, you do not want to allow a goal that late into a period, because that can be just something very crucial going into the final period of play right there. So Dallas, they get a 3-1 lead going into the third period. And in the third period, all Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay came out with a purpose in this period, and oh my, Anton Khudobin. Just, oh my goodness, he was making save after save after save. There was one of these saves, especially late in the third period, where it was a shot in the slot, and you just see Anton Khudobin just putting the leather out there, just stretching out, making that glove save, and keeping it a 3-1 game right there. In Tampa Bay, they do get 2 power plays in this third period. There was a delay of game penalty, and then there was also a tripping penalty by Tyler Seguin. And Tampa Bay, they can't cash in on either of their power plays. I think in this game in total, Tampa Bay went 0 for 3 on their power play, so that's definitely not a good sign right there. And if you're looking towards back into the New York Islanders series, the Islanders were kind of shutting down Tampa Bay too, especially in those later games, when the Islanders were gifting Tampa Bay a lot in those overtimes with those power plays, and Tampa Bay could not find a way to cash in. So it's a little bit questionable right here for Tampa Bay, not scoring on their power plays. But Tampa Bay, they were still getting chances throughout the entire game. 22 shots total in this period. 2 shots for Dallas. Just 2 shots in general. And that second shot that they had in the third period was an empty netter goal by Jason Dickinson. And it was a turnover in the neutral zone. Dallas was playing a nice forecheck right there, and Dickinson just puts the dagger right into the net. And it's a 4-1 Dallas lead, and that's how your game ends. And the one thing, like going back to that power play for Tampa Bay, it's just that going over 3 on the power play, that's going to be crucial. Because Tampa Bay, if they're going to be getting these power play chances, especially late in the games, they need to find a way to cash in, because I'm a Flyers fan right here, and I definitely know a struggling power play when I see it. And Tampa Bay has a lot of skilled players on both of their power play units, and they need to find ways to cash in. But also credit to Dallas for playing good, very good on the penalty kill too, especially Anton Khudobin. Well, like, you just can't give enough credit to Anton Khudobin. He was fantastic in this game. Very fantastic. And he basically, he stole that third period for Dallas. He stole it. He was so good. He was just incredible. It was an artist perfecting his craft in the net right there. Anton Khudobin was perfecting his craft. It was good. It was fantastic. He was keeping Tampa Bay at bay. Tampa Bay at bay. It was a great period right there. Great period. Tampa Bay came out flying. Dallas, they were just playing that shutdown defensive game in the third period. They weren't really getting that many chances. Like I said, Tampa Bay, they were just coming flying. They were flying out there. Flying. It was a great game overall. Just a fantastic game overall. And looking at this right now, because I'm a Flyers fan right here, and just like, yeah, it sucks that my team didn't make it that far into the playoffs, but when I'm looking at this as a hockey fan right now, I can sit back, I can enjoy the Stanley Cup Finals, because that's what all hockey fans want to see. They want to see the Stanley Cup Finals. They want to see that one team lift the Stanley Cup. They want to see it happen. And we're going to be getting a great finals right here. Dallas, Tampa Bay, they both deserve to be in these finals. In terms of predictions going down the stretch, honestly, with the way Dallas just has been playing throughout these entire playoffs, I am pushing more towards the Dallas side. And that, even though that's not biased towards this first game, because it's the Stanley Cup Finals and anything could happen. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs, anything could happen at this point. But just the way Dallas has been playing, especially since that second round against Colorado, winning that game in 7 games, and the way they manhandled Vegas. I feel like Dallas has more of the edge in this series. Even though I feel like Tampa Bay overall is the completely better team, I just feel like Dallas, with their play they're playing right now, especially the way Khudobin is playing, they're just on a whole different level right now. It's going to be an evenly matched series, no doubt. But I feel like Dallas right now has the upper hand just with the way they're playing. And Tampa Bay, they have to pick it up a little bit. They can build off of that third period, but they got to find a way to put the puck in the net. They got a very fluky goal in this game. They got a way to find it to get a convincing goal. They got to get those goals in, especially on the power play. They got to find a way to score on those power plays. Like I said, I'm a Flyers fan. I know a struggling power play when I see one. So Tampa Bay, if you want to start winning some games right here, you got to score on those power plays. Got to find a way to get the offensive going. Andrei Vasilevskiy, I'm not going to blame him too much on this game, but I would expect he wants that third goal back because you definitely don't want to allow a goal that late in a period. So it's going to be a very, very fun series. And like I said, for prediction-wise, I'm pushing more towards Dallas. So I'll say game-wise, I'll say Dallas wins this series in 6 games. That's what I'm feeling right now. Anything could happen. I could probably just totally jinx the Dallas Stars right here. So like I said, it's the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's the Stanley Cup Finals. Anything could happen. It's a game of adjustments. And who knows, Tampa Bay can adjust for game 2 and come out flying and win that game. You just got to wait and see what happens on Monday. So what are your thoughts on this video, ladies and gentlemen? What are your thoughts on game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals? Who do you favor more in this series? Do you favor Dallas? Do you favor Tampa Bay? I want to hear your thoughts. If you're a Dallas fan, if you're a Tampa Bay fan, if you're a hockey fan in general, I want to hear your thoughts on these finals. So don't forget to leave a comment down in the comment section. Don't forget to drop a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next time. Let's see what happens during these finals, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be here the entire time.